Hello, my loyal subject, and welcome to my very first ever deck profile. And today we are joined by the absolute legend, the O.T.C himself, the original Tartarus captain, the main man, Tauren Jay. How are we doing, big man?
Not too bad, not too bad.
So, from what I understand, you got third place at the OPE event, correct?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we've done really well. So I wanted to give a big shout out to South Warlord, Colin and Linda. Again, with numerous amounts of practice and showing me different launching techniques, different bays to use, different setups. They've really kind of trained me and coached me to victory on this, well, not victory, but a podium finish. So that's a
Hey,
big
third
one
place.
for me.
Third
Big
place
one
is
for
still
me.
third place, as far as I'm aware. So,
Yeah.
anyway, why don't you tell us about the lovely troopers you sent into battle?
I going into my matches, I would set up with first bay starting from here. So this is Impact Drake. I ran it on a 460 taper. Out of everything I tested, I originally had it on 770 rush, 760 rush. However, I'm not particularly great with rush in general, just in terms of how I launch. I much prefer more balanced bits, so like taper, also like level, also like unite. But out of everything, this seemed to be the most consistent for me, especially in the Hasbro. Impact Drake in the Hasbro is really insane. It's such a great bay to use in the Hasbro. I also noticed a combo on the good old Nazuma Blader channel, so that's where the inspiration for it come. Then we just practiced with it and realised actually it's pretty solid. So that was always my first bay, most aggressive bay going in first, trying to get points straight off the board. And then my second one was the good old Phoenix 160 rush, 160 points. And if I just pull this out here, this is the A2 mold. I'm not too sure if you can see that.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
The A2 mold I found was really much more of an aggressive point. Mad Maxi often suggests the A1 or A2 points just for more of an aggressive point bit. And yeah, it was so good. It got me so many over finishes, extreme finishes. It was such a good bay. This was always filling in the second slot, just because typically people would. They would either go like an attacker or kind of like, it's always like a mid card. It was never like a stamina bay. They always put the stamina bays in third slot. And this is the reasoning for why Dragoon elevates, so 960 elevates.
Ah, the classic.
Yeah, so again, as soon as they put a stamina type against it, it would spin steel and also get me that safe point. It was also quite aggressive. It also got a fair few extreme finishes on the day as well, which was more than I expected, because this was kind of like my safe choice. So I always kind of try and set up a deck which is a little bit more balanced. So I don't like to go full attack, full stamina or whatever. I like to have like, okay, this is my one hit KO. This is kind of like my balance type, and then this is like, well, it's kind of in a category of its own. It's spin stealing sort of stamina, I guess. It's just in its own category because it's kind of the only useful left spin we have. Being a Hasbro, I felt the unique movement patterns allowed it to move out the way of the attackers and then spin steal to get the victory in the end. In the group stages, we went 5-1. Which was fantastic. Again, I just kept on first slot, second slot, third slot, and then when the reshuffle would come around, then that's when I'd sort of assess and try and judge based on where I am on the point. So, okay, if I'm at 5-4 or whatever, and then I'd try and rejig accordingly. So then I'd typically have Dragoon on match point, typically. I know it's a bit of a burst risk, but with this 960, hence why it's on 9 and not like 560 to try and even out or level it out more. This 960 is off Raw Tyranno, and if I just latch this back on, it is so tight. It literally takes a lot of force. You can see how much force I'm pulling out of that there to actually get that.
Rogue Phoenix on the loose.
That's literally. But yeah, so it's that's why I went with 960 rather than 560 or anything. It was that ratchet was just so tight. I thought, right, okay, I'm sticking with that because the burst risk with elevators, we all know, is just so, frequent. It did put me off the build a lot, but putting on that, it actually, I think I had 2 bursts all day with it, which, from, nearly bursting every single time, and in the confined spaces of the Hasbro Stadium, I think that's quite good in terms of burst ratio. So, but yeah, and then we got into the final. It was a double elimination, which was good because I had dropped the first game.
Eliminations are still very scary, regardless.
That was a really unique deck because you would be quite proud of this one, Warlord, because it ran a 960 point shark. So,
yeah, my bread and butter. Yes,
the bread and butter, and that did burst Old Dragoon. So. It did get it, so I did lose that one. That was points to 7, but then I made a good comeback, winning my games up until the semi-final bouts, where I went against my arch nemesis Henry D. I'm still yet to beat him, but he completely just clean sweeps me, which was quite disappointing, but hey ho, I will get it. I will get you. If you're watching this, I will get you.
Rest assured, Tartarus will have their revenge.
Certainly will. But yeah, that's as far as I got. I got 3rd place, which my first OPE competition, and I think it done really good. Things to change. I noticed that Phoenix Point, it didn't have a good matchup against a low rush counterpart. So typically, if it was like a mirror match, well, not really a mirror match, but if it was against Phoenix on low rush, it would struggle immensely. So I don't want to drop this one entirely. I'd probably, what I've been doing is looking for another safe choice other than Dragoon. I'm not great with Dragoon just because, you're changing your launch as a left spin, and my launch setup is kind of like dialed in now. So like with Dragoon, it completely changes it up. So I'm kind of thinking out of the 2 I'm kind of considering to change would be these 2, but just it performed so well this. They all did, to be fair. The MVP was definitely Impact Drake. Even when it started to get to really low stamina, it felt like it would just touch stuff and it would just go straight into the over finish.
That's what you need, and that's what you need.
Yeah, literally. In TT, it's not as consistent, but in Hasbro, you need to run this, honestly. It's so good in Hasbro. But yeah, going into next OPE tournament, I would definitely keep Impact. Might put this on low rush, but I am really good with points, so we'll see. And I might try and see if we can get a tight 560 onto this. But other than that, happy, and that's my deck profile.
Yeah, that's really good. Thank you for that, Tauren. And once again, well done on getting 3rd place, and let's hope we can score a big victory in the next one, yeah?
That's it. We'll aim for 1st this time.
Hell yes, brother, that's what I like to hear. Thank you for that, Tauren.
No worries.
Alright, and with that, we shall see you next time.